This time, guys, you join me down here at Esnes Lake down in Wolverhampton. This was previously a Syndicate lake, but has literally just gone Dayticket. And the DNA team are down here filming for our 3D series. So on the opposite bank we have Mozza and Ollie Sanders and Nick Davis over there filming with our film crew Ricardo and Vinny. So I thought I'd nip down and just see what they're getting up to and have a little fish for myself and yeah, just see what the lake's all about really. So it's an 18-acre quarry, so it was a gravel extraction, and I believe there's between 500 and 600 fish in here. It's run by Ed Matthews, and yeah, it's a nice, mature, really nice looking venue to be fair, and yeah, plenty of features to go at as well. So it's notoriously deep. I'm fishing in an area here that has actually depths down to 46 foot, but there is little islands and cut throughs and all kinds of things going on. Lots of marginal shelves as well to work with. So I thought I'd just make the trip down and yeah, give it 2 or 3 days, get involved with a little bit of the film work as well, do a little bit of product shooting as we go, and just try and catch a few, and hopefully watch these guys get a few as well, which you'll more than likely see on the next 3D series, which may be already out when this vlog goes out. So yeah, I got here yesterday and I think it was around sort of 3 o'clock by the time I got here. Did 3 laps of the lake. The wind was absolutely howling. It's northwesterly and sorry, a northeasterly, and that was driving straight down into that bottom corner, which is a little bit shallower. So after 3 laps and then another lap with the bailiff, he come down and pointed out some areas where we'd expect to find them, but there was just no fish there. So, but it was a bright sunny day as well, really warm on the back of the wind, so I opted to jump into a swim known as antennae, and this sits right at the back of the wind, but it is in this 46 foot bit. But it was evident the fish was here. As I turned up, Ollie's fishing the opposite peg, so he's just across the way there, and he had one on just as I arrived at the lake, and I'd been told that they'd been showing up this area. So, and it just seemed like a completely different world. So I decided to set up in this one and give it at least a day before maybe mooching over and jumping in at the side of Nick. And yeah, on tea time, just on dusk, I just managed to get the rods out. By the time I got sorted, it was 6-7 o'clock, and put one out on a Zig, and then 2 just up this margin into about, I think one rod was sat round about 20 foot, the other one was sat about 25 foot, and yeah, these fish started to crash out in front of me in open water, so I just kept moving the Zig about. I'm on an adjustable, brought it closer and closer and closer, which ended up on just on the second drop, where it drops down to 36 before it balls down to the 46. They were quite close in, and I just messed around with the depths. I knew Ollie had caught mid depth, so I started there, but worked it up, and then I just pulled it back down to mid depth, and within 10 minutes it was gone, and I got a lovely 16-pound mirror for my efforts. And then the liners started on the bottom bait rods. The shows tend to have slowed, and from midnight onwards I was getting liners on both of these rods that were fishing up this side. And at 2:30, the very nearest one, the one fishing in 20 foot water, was away. Sadly I lost it to a hook pull just down in this margin. I think the thing with these shelves is they're so savage, some of them. I felt it bump and lock into one, and then the second one, as I started to bring it up over the other one, as it hit the second one, everything went really slack, as if it had run down the side of the ledge towards me, and I tried to gain line, picked it up a little bit in front of me, and then the hook pulled. But good signs. Number one, both tactics worked, so I'm pretty confident that I've got a chance of these fish on the bottom. It's a big high pressure, to be fair. I think it's 1035 as opposed to last week it was through the floor, but I'm told it does fish all right on a high. And yeah, so I got up this morning on first light. There was fish crashing around, not as many as what I'd seen the night before, but there was evident in the area, but there was out in the middle. So I'm now fishing in the 46 foot, and I'm at a range of about 20 wraps out. And what I've done is put two adjustables side by side, literally a couple of rod lengths apart, and I've got one set currently. I've just lifted them up. I've got one set at 27 foot and one set at 25, which is about mid depth. So I'm just going to keep working that water column, and then I've decided to try and put a little bit of bait over the top of that. So I'm using the insect meal, very slightly dampened down with the Calanus liquid, just so it hangs in the water column a little bit. And then I've been lacing the spod syrup in the centre. So this is our new spod syrup, our improved version of the spod syrup. Just laying it in there, so I'm getting some fluctuation through the water column of some food source, but not much in the way of items of food. So just to try and get some attraction. There was a lot of fish out here last night, and I think a venue like this, when they're holding in a bowl like they are, and you've got so many fish in here, it's not just like a big fish water where you just, you're trying to trip one up on a single zig. So I don't know whether it's been done before, spotting over zigs on here, but first trip down, and I thought I'd just give it a go. You never know. If these fish are active, then and there's enough of them in this area, a little bit of scent in the water, a little bit of food can often get them going. There's been a fly hatch this morning as well. I've seen the caddis all over, and I've seen the birds in the water, but they seem to have moved down towards where Mozza is. Mozza's at the side of Ollie there, so just got the one on the bottom, and I'll just keep scanning the water today and see what's happening. So like I say, I've got a couple of nights ahead of me, and new venue, so it's always getting your head into it and trying to work out where the fish are, where they want to be, and dealing with the depths of water that you're dealing with. And you've got much bigger range of water to work these zigs in. So yeah, so we'll just see how that pans out. I'll keep you up to speed as I go. I'm pretty confident by tea time again I'm going to see these fish here, and I'll just react accordingly. It might mean that I go 3 zigs through into sort of midnight and then put 2 on the deck like I did last night. So yeah, we'll just mull our way through the day, keep a little bit of bait trickling over these zigs. Well, finally nailed another one. It's took all day. Not seen anything show today, but we're just dropping into tea time, and as I presumed, they've just started to show now. And this little, probably a scraper double, yeah, just ripped off. This time on a yellow candy stick, fished on an adjustable zig at 30 foot. I'm in 46 foot of water where the fish have been showing, and it was set at 30 foot. I've been moving it up and down all day, and it's finally rattled off. So hopefully as the night draws in, a few more sure, I'll try and nail a bigger one. Okay, so as I've said, using the adjustable Zig. This one's the Fox one. It's a running Zig system, kind of works like a marker float, and yeah, I prefer this one simply because it's got this little plug in here, and this little plug is just a little PVA nugget. So I get a PVA nugget and I cut it into 3 sections, and one of these sections does this plug. That's all you need, and then I just literally nick the hook just through the top there. That aids casting, and this little bit that the hook's nicked into will melt pretty quick, and the hook pops up, and it keeps everything nice and tangle free, especially when you're paying it out. Obviously, with this being a quite buoyant float, if you pay out too fast, it can overtake the hook bait, and you could probably tangle even though you think it's gone out absolutely fine. So yeah, this is what I've had the success on 2 of the fish. I was obviously using black last night, and I've swapped over to yellow this afternoon just to see if it made a difference, and got one pretty quick. So it's just obviously picking colours. I will be swapping back onto the black a little bit later, because I just feel like black into evening time especially, and through dark, is one of the best colours you can get. So I'll be back on the black candy sticks shortly. But I'm going to put these 2 out for now. That fish was caught in 30 foot, so they're both going out at 30 foot depth, and I'm going to fish these and continue moving them about right the ways and through till about 10 o'clock, and then I'm probably going to bring one in and drop a second rod on the bottom and leave one Zig fishing black. So hopefully we can just go out and nail a bigger fish. Nice 20 would be nice now. But yeah, that's currently how I'm fishing my Zigs. Well, good morning. Uneventful night last night. The fish sort of didn't turn up as expected. They decided to roll in at around 2 o'clock this morning, and yeah, plenty of shows, but literally all over this main bowl. So I was up 2, 3, 4, 5 recasting these Zigs. So I'm absolutely shattered, but yeah, I just couldn't find the range, couldn't find the depth. But they didn't get down sort of that tea time mark where they'd done the night before. I don't know why. Couldn't see them anywhere else on the lake. Nobody else had done. I'd seen 2 or 3 fish over on the far bank, maybe 6, 7 o'clock-ish, and I thought that was going to be the start of it. So whether they'd just pushed over in that corner and held there, I don't know. But like I say, it was probably midnight when I had the first fish, and then they sort of started lumping out at about 2 o'clock, and I had them from the far corner, near corner, centre. They were just so spread out. So yeah, the left hand side spot I've been fishing on the bottom previous night, loads of liners on it, and I mean a load of liners on it, but they've just not, I don't think they worked their way out round that far. So yeah, didn't have a liner on it at all, so pulled one of those back in, and kept working the 2 zigs at different depths, so I've been ranging anything from 15 up to 35 foot. As the sun gets out for the morning, I'm gonna probably try maybe setting them to about 40, 42, get them up more near the surface. Just can't seem to find them at the minute. But yeah, they were definitely here. They stopped showing at about 6 o'clock, and it's just finding out where they've gone or if they've dropped down or what they're doing. But yeah, I suppose this time of year, big deep water like this, it's going to take a long time to warm up, and they'll just find those thermal layers. We've had an up and down in the weather. When I first got here, it was absolutely glorious sunshine, and I think it was a little bit easy to find that area of comfort where they wanted to sit, and it was evident that there was there with the bites that we'd got. But I think as yesterday came in, it was a cold night the night before, and then as yesterday came in, it took till mid-afternoon for the sun to get out. It was really cold. The wind started swinging direction. It was starting to push into that bank, and I think with that turnover of water, they'll have just been up and down all over it. But yeah, that's the joy of fishing. You've got to try and figure them out. With a water this size, and it's very much like some of the other waters I fish, like the likes of Grenville, you're looking at a surface area of 18 acre here. But when you actually look at the depths of water, for a standard gravel pit, which can be, anything below sort of 12, 10 foot average, most of them down south will be even less than that. This is a big expanse of water because of the sheer level of water column. So as I say, I'm fishing in 46.5 feet to the centre, and catching with 30 foot zigs from the bottom. So you've got a whole range of water, they've got a whole range of water to move about in and hide. And thermoclines this time of year, when the water's turning over with big winds especially, you can find that these thermoclines can change, move up and down. I've even been in my own lake at home, which the top end of it's 6 degrees in the height of summer. And I've gone for a bit of a swim. Not recommending anybody goes jumping in lakes and things, but safe at home. And but when I've got in there, even in the height of summer, you can just be swimming through, and all of a sudden you'll hit a massive cold, very cold, freezing cold patch, and it'll be like a little bubble or pocket of water that's absolutely freezing, bitter cold. And that'll have had sun on it for literally months. But it always seems to happen when there's been a turnover over southwesterly on mine, where the deeper part of the lake will churn up and push to the top, and these big cold spots just appear. And they can be anywhere. I've been walking across there and felt it on my knees, and then I've walked through a different part of the lake within the same couple of minutes, and I felt it hit my toes. So you imagine what that's like in a depth of water like this. So when you are fishing zigs, it's about working that water. You can't sit on your hands, you can't find depth, say 15 foot like I did on the first day. Ollie's obviously done the same, and then try and keep working the same thing. If these fish are active in front of you and they're moving around, you've got to figure out where they are. And as I say, with the weather changes, we're in early spring, weather's up and down, wind's up and down. I mean, it was freezing last night, really cold last night to be fair. I think it was down to 1 degree again. They started showing at sort of 1, 2 o'clock. They were all over, so you've got to find your range, and then you've got to find your depth. So yeah, I'm going to be scooting off today, be going for about dinner time. I'm going to be working these 2 zigs. I might pull the third in and get a third zig out for the rest of the morning. The sun's already coming up. It's going to be a warmer day today, so I'm just going to figure out if these fish are up. And if I start catching sort of fish at 40 foot zigs, it's got to be some kind of record. It will be definitely the deepest zig caught fish I've ever had, so that'll be entertaining. But yeah, I'll See how it goes. They've stopped again, exactly like they do each morning when they get here, and it just seems to get to this time in the morning and they just stop showing. You see the odd one or two dot about, and then it just goes dead. So. Well, just as that sun come up and just started hitting the water a bit, I managed to get a bite. This one about the same size as the first, about 15-16 pound, and yeah, this one was cotton pink, so I've had one on each colour. I've been chopping and changing the colours obviously as I've been hunting them through the night and the early hours this morning, chucking zigs all over, just trying to spur on a bite. But yeah, I'd seen fish in this area repeatedly showing and just staged them up, and 30 foot zigs seems to be the mark at the minute, so I'm going to have a little swap round in colours again, throw out, and see if we can bag another one just before these fish decide to do the morning move. But yeah, well happy with that. Bite number 4 and fish number 3 on the bank. Right guys, that's me done. The barrow is packed and I'm about to load up and head up that lovely motorway. So I've got a 2-hour drive ahead of me, but I'll be going up there fairly happy. 5 bites in total, sadly lost 2, 3 fish banked. So I'm taking that as a good degree of success on my first session here down at Esnes. So I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed having to work for it and suss it out. And it has been hard work. It's not been an easy session whatsoever. You know, I'm fishing these depths of water and I've really had to work through the layers. You're not just working the water that you can sort of see in the area in front of you, you're working those depths. And a good thing about fishing with adjustable zigs is once they're out there and you're confident there's fish within those zones, you can work those layers with minimal disturbance, and that's what I've been doing. So as the fish didn't turn up as expected last night around tea time, they turned up later. They turned up midnight to 1 o'clock. I got up and I consistently kept getting up every half an hour and resetting those zigs. So although it's tiring, you know, that's what you got to do. You've got to work it out. You're here to fish, you're here to work them out, and it's resulted me in having some success. I would have liked to have had a 20 just to show for it, but I'm very happy coming down here and having the 5 bites that I've had. So range of colours, you know, having a range of candy sticks with me has worked. I've had to chop and change a little bit, and I just found during the brighter hours that the fluoros were doing, and the darker hours, the black just seemed to be the one. So yeah, I've had a really enjoyable time, but it's time for me to now hit the road. So I'll catch you next time.